Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Coffee and Conversations with AMR Elite Realtors with Taylor Properties. I'm so glad to see everyone this morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
So I'm Alicia Richardson, associate broker and owner of AMR Elite. I have here with me Miss Juanita Winky Kennedy and Mr. Bryant Thornwell of On Point Liquid Capital, hard money lender. Yay!
He's the money man of the morning. How about that?
Yes. So, Miss Juanita, I know that we wanted to make sure that we let everyone know that Miss Mashana, who's normally with us, is dealing with a medical emergency, and we just want to ask that everyone keeps her in your prayers.
Yes, keep her in your prayers, and we know that God will protect her through the storm. And, definitely I was on my knees for her last night, and I will continue on. And we know that God is going to work his way through this all the way. And she'll be back with us very soon.
Yes.
So my first question, Mr. Thornwell, can you tell us a little bit about your company and the services that you offer?
Okay, great. Well, first of all, I'd like to thank you all for inviting me. This is a pleasure. And I've been looking forward to it since I've talked to Mashana, and you guys are running a very quality class coffee chat here, and I'm just privileged to be a part of it. My company is On Point Liquid Capital, and basically, as you said before, I am the money man. I am the money for all different types of situations. I'm also a business consultant, so I do startups and things like that. So it's kind of a mixture. But we're a nationwide equity-based broker offering private money for real estate investors and business owners. And we're looking for investors who need capital to purchase properties, to fix them up, to flip them, sell for profit, or if they want to hold them for rent for cash flow. Our products and services include wholesale, rehab. We do the fix and flips, buy and hold, cash out refinances on investment and commercial properties. We primarily focus on the value of the property as opposed to banks who look at credit and lack of resources. So we're your alternative credit, or what you might call private money broker. We sort of got away from the hard money term only because it had a bad connotation early on. With the fallout of the subprime market and things like that. So now it's being told as private money, private money brokers. And basically, we have a better product than what there was with hard money. The hard money they were kind of, I hate to say it like this, but they were kind of like vultures, and they took advantage of people. And the thing about it is the loans that they were giving were not for self-employed people. They were for self-employed people, but the regular average W-2 person were getting them and then finding out that, hey, they didn't verify this, they didn't verify that. And now they're possibly going into default or foreclosure because they had great credit, but their resources as far as money and what they actually thought they could pay for a mortgage wasn't there. So that's where a lot of the subprime market fell through. And now they're coming on with, okay, we have all these self-employed people that could be making $300,000-$400,000 a year, but they can't qualify for a mortgage because, first of all, they write off everything. And then two, they've been impacted, especially with the pandemic, with impacting their credit. So you might have somebody making $300,000 a year with a 550 credit score. Mm-hmm. So what do we do with those borrowers? You still have inventory that needs to be eliminated. So we've come up with these non-QM, which is non-qualified mortgage programs that still allow these self-employed borrowers to be able to participate. But like I said, primarily, I'm looking for investors who are looking to buy these properties and maybe fix and flip and things like that.
Okay. So you kind of already explained some of it, right? But I have some other questions because I work with a lot of investors. So now I know the first thing that I need to know that's important is we don't say hard money anymore. We say private money brokers.
Correct.
Right. Okay. So private money brokers. So I know in the past, my past experience with private money brokers is that you got the money for a certain amount of time, like it was 6 months, and then it needed to be paid back in full, or it was a year. And if you had it for longer than a year, once you purchased that investment property, you had to refinance it into a regular mortgage or something like that. So does everything still work the same? It's like, what's the best terms or options for the investors that are looking for this? I always tell them you're going to have a higher interest rate than, the regular market, but just the terms, what are some of the term differences or that have been now come into play?
The terms are basically the same that you remember. Okay. It's a short-term loan, and what we talk to the investors about is, what's your exit strategy? What are you planning on doing with the property? So that we can kind of base their term on the time that they may need for rehab or things like that, so that we can make it affordable and still make it a situation where they'll still be able to cash flow. They won't be in a situation where it's tense and they got to get that product moved, or they're going to get hit with, this outrageous interest rate.
Right.
So the terms are pretty much the same. And it works basically the same. It's just that you won't have these outrageous loans. I mean, they was charging, 24, 25% for hard money.
Yeah.
That's where they really kind of gouge the investors. So then what you do is you shop around from investor to investor, and by that time is of the essence.
Right.
And they really need to get that flipped over into, they're either going to sell it, or if they're going to hold it, refinance it into a traditional loan, and maybe have it as a rental property where they cash flow.
What's the most popular option that you've seen the investors that you work with? What is the most popular option? I'm most of the time I always hear the 6 month.
6 months.
It is the most. Okay.
Yeah. And you brought up a good point. The fix and flip part of it, it can be the shorter amount of time you're keeping it, the more that the expensive it is.
Right.
So it's still a give and take. We look at it because we know we came out of that subprime market, and we know that we have to make it advantageous, because what I want that person to come back to me to buy another house, or
right.
When they need that money, I want them to come back to me, and it makes it a smoother transition, because what I can do is see how they performed on that first deal or second deal or fifth deal, and now between me and the underwriter, we know that that's a experienced investor, and we don't have to really vet it that much. So John could call me and say, "Hey, I got this deal I need to rush. I need the money right away." I'm able to rush better because I know this person crossing their T's and dotting their I's.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
They have a good track record, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So let me ask you this question, Mr. Thornwell. What advice can you give someone that wants to be an investor with how to really get started in investing?
That's a great point. There are numerous people that want to be an investor.
Everybody in the United
Right.
States. Everybody in the United States of America, they call
Absolutely right.
I want to be an investor.
That's true.
Yeah.
And what I do, if you're brand new, a lot of lenders base things on how experienced you are as an investor.
Yeah.
So if you're brand new, what I would suggest is team up with a real estate agent who's investor experienced. Also join the REITs and network with people there and how they're doing it. You might have to kind of collaborate with someone just so you can learn the basics. There's seminars, webinars. I mean, you really don't know which way to turn, but you want to get the basic information, because the bottom line is, once you learn that, you just need money. Once you learn how to capture a property, going and writing a contract on it, then all you don't need to wait for the funding. You just write the contract to hold it, and then you go get the funding.
Right.
When you're doing residential, you get the funding first, and then you write the contract. You go get approved for a mortgage, and then you go get the funding. And investment is the other way around. You lock up the contract, and then you go get the funding. And you connect with some mortgage brokers. There's online real estate chat forums such as AMR Elite.
Exactly, and I was going to say that because we do specialize in helping investors.
I work with several investors. Yes.
Right. There's Facebook pages, LinkedIn, Meetup, Neighbor. There's so many ways that you can do this. And the great other thing about it is you don't have to be full-time in this. There's people who are making money part-time. I know a police officer who made $58,000, and that's part of his part-time job. So it's you have to put in the time, though. One thing I will say, people get a lot of knowledge and they sit on it. Yes. You don't get rich by looking at videos and studying tapes and things like that. You have to put it into action. That's the only thing I tell people. If you get the knowledge, make it happen.
And use it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Use the knowledge.
Absolutely.
So I would agree with that for sure.
Yeah. So I have a question for you about the states that you work in. Are you with private money lenders or private money brokers? Are they still under the same guidelines as a regular mortgage broker that, I can't do Virginia, I'm licensed only in Maryland and DC, or are you licensed everywhere?
The great part about it, I was a loan officer for 20 years, and I had to have 5 or 6 licenses to be all over. Right. Florida, Virginia, North Carolina. The great thing about commercial and investment deals is that you don't have to be licensed. So I'm partly nationwide. There's some states that the lenders that I deal with don't have their licenses in it. But me as a broker, I don't have to have the license. And what I do, I'm affiliated with a bunch of brokers who I can still get the job done, even though they may not be, the primary lenders that I use are not licensed in that state. I'll just go to my other resources and get it done.
Okay.
So anybody in any state, we can still send them your way. That's
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
We'll definitely do that.
And,
and just to piggyback on that, I took about 2 years to kind of develop the program and the platform that I have. Because I want to be that one-stop shop. I want to be, and it's not egotistical, it's just that I don't want to send someone away to be serviced by somebody else because they may not do it the way I do it.
Absolutely.
I really care. I really care about my clients. My conversion ratio is somewhere 96, 97% because I'm passionate about helping them. And I don't want to put it in somebody else's hands where they may be too busy and they might drop the ball, and then it's a reflection on me. So I'd rather have everything in-house. Let me do it. Let me put you with the right people that I have experience with that I know is going to take care of you like I would.
Right.
Exactly. Because customer service is paramount, even in real estate.
Yeah.
We are definitely the same way. I mean, even if we refer someone out to another state or whatever, we try to follow up to ensure that person receives the best customer service, because we know that it's still a reflection of AMR Elite Realtors with Taylor Properties, no matter where they go, because they're going to say, you sent me to that person.
Right.
You sent me to that person, and I never heard back from them.
And follow up is crucial.
It's
so crucial. One thing when I was doing residential loans is that I had to check myself because I end up wanting a house more than they did. So I'm like, where's your documents? I mean, call me back. What's going on? And
that sounds so familiar.
It got to be so intensive that, I said, well, let me go over to the commercial side now. I've been, the residential side was good to me. I made a lot of money, but it was just that it was difficult. It was difficult getting the people to understand that you're in the biggest purchase of your life, and you need to address that way. You need to, I don't really care about what else you had to do. This is important. This is crucial to you obtaining a property where you're going to have shelter. So you're not going to buy anything bigger. There's no cars. Well, there are Maybachs, but but you know what I mean? This is the number one priority in a person's life. So take it like that. And I told them, if you just follow me, if you just follow the steps that I have, I will get you in a house. It's easy to get you in. It's harder to maintain it. So just follow what I'm saying, and I will help you get into a home.
And I applaud you for that, because you're kind of like, you have the heart like we have. We wear our hearts on our sleeves as far as people always, realtors, real estate agents, mortgage lenders, we get a bad name sometimes because they think we just want to get paid off of them, but everybody's not like that. What I want to see is, I want to see you get what you want, get what you work for, be successful, feel successful. This is a big decision. So you have some agents that just brush it to the side, and it's just so unfair to the clients. But that's one of the things that AMR Elite Realtors, we hold your hand, we babysit you, we hold your hand, and we are your biggest advocates, your biggest cheerleaders. And it's just hard to get that across to people sometimes, because they're looking at, what everybody else is saying or someone else's experience, but you won't get the same experience with AMR that you're going to get,
Absolutely.
somewhere else. But so I know you've already kind of given a lot of pointers for persons that want to start investing and flipping houses and things like that. But is there any more advice that you would have for someone?
Like, would you, because I kind of want to know, would you say that a person should save up X amount of dollars before they think about investing, or should they make sure that they have a 640 credit score? I mean, what really is paramount to start the investment process?
Great credit always works if you have it. If you don't let that be a hindrance to getting into it. We have programs down to 550. So it's really, it's not about the person, it's about the property. As long as the value is in the property, we can make that deal happen, Gotcha. So, that's the other thing about investing, it's taking it off of the person. And, when you look at a property, you look at how much is it going to be the after repair value. We lend on that. And then what do you think it's going to sell for? So if there's a lot of equity there, we can make that deal happen. With bad credit, you don't want terrible credit, because it's still a business transaction that has to be looked at. But the great thing about non-qualified mortgages is that there's not a lot of documentation. It's going back to when we had the no doc loans and stated income, stated assets. So it's kind of all along that. They are a little bit more cognizant of what you have, but we don't go through the whole, and that's why it's fast money. So, you can get funded in, 72 hours if the deal is right. If everything is in, appraisal and things like that, we can make that thing happen. Whereas, you're doing a residential loan, may take you 30, 45 days to close that deal. Because all the documentation and all the guidelines that has to be followed. So I just tell people, don't let that scare you about credit, but just make sure you have all the other parts intact as far as, you know, the type of property, you know, what's your exit strategy, what are you going to do with it? And the other thing is we don't lend on qualified mortgage. So if somebody wanted to buy a house, I do have alternatives for them. I do have resources if they want to buy a house for themselves.
Right.
So primarily, I'm dealing with investors and
more
commercial.
flips. You don't.
Right.
So you don't have a lot of people that purchase and want to do a rental. They mostly doing flips.
Mostly doing flips, but some people that want to have a cash flow, they are doing rentals. They buying and they renting it out. Yep.
Because the rental market, you would say, is very healthy right now, especially with the fact that apartments are charging a lot more to renters. So the rental market is definitely. And what would you say about condos? Can you give me a little insight about that too? Are they a good rental?
They're good. They have their pros and cons. What I found out about condos is that they're harder to sell. They're harder to sell. Yeah. And what you end up doing is that going into another rental situation with them. And you just keep that flow going that way. But you know, if it's attractive enough, you can sell it. But when I was doing residential loans, it was very hard to sell condos. It was just like I said, it was easier to rent them. I don't know. We have programs that help you buy condos, but I haven't run across a lot of people who are buying condos.
Okay. Well, Mr. Thornwell, we are very grateful for you spending your morning with us. You've given us a lot of information. I know that your phone hopefully will be ringing off the hook. With the
we want to share it with everybody, and then when we get an investor that is looking for that money, we're definitely going to send them your way for sure.
I appreciate that. And then, you know, what I tell investors is like, put my name under money in your phone.
Hey, I hear that.
I told you, you're the money man of the morning.
Right. Right. So everyone out there, you'll be able to find Mr. Thornwell's information on the www.amrelite.com website. This video will also be posted on YouTube for your viewing pleasure. And we thank you again, Mr. Thornwell, for spending the morning with us. We are always happy to have our guests and share the information and the knowledge that you have, because you've given some good information to possibly not even new investors, but people that are thinking about investing, and now they know where to get the money from. Okay.
Exactly. On point, liquid capital.
The pleasure's been all mine. I really enjoyed this morning. I want to just say another prayer for Mashana and
yes, prayers for her.
And you know, you guys are great. I look forward to working with you.
Well, thank you.
Thank you so much. And what are we, Alicia?
We are reliable realtors providing
exceptional service.
No need to go far.
Come on down to AMR.
Have a good day. Thank you
so much, Mr. Thornwell.
All righty. You guys have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.